Today we are going to discuss BEDS 002, week 2. We are still in week 2 where we will be discussing part 2. In the last lecture, we had discussed meaning and expressions of emotions. Today we will be discussing emotional development, the different stages. That is, explaining or discussing what are the various stages of emotional development in infancy, in children, when children are infants, when children are in the adult stage, and so on. So we will be discussing the different stages of emotional development. Let us first go to discuss what are emotions in infancy. Infancy, that is when a child is born to 3 months. What are the emotions in infancy? How emotions develop during infancy have been studied extensively by the researcher Greenspan, who have reported milestones of emotional development. So when we are going to discuss emotions in infancy, we have researchers Greenspan who have studied a lot of milestones with regard to emotional development in infants. According to them, regulation and interest in the world occurs from birth to 3 months. The child, the infant, learns to self-regulate his or her emotions and learn how to feel calm, relax and maintain active interest in the world that he or she experiences through his or her experiences. Around 2 to 7 months, the child falls in love, explores parents' faces and responds with smile and joyfulness. So during the time the child is born to, let's say, around 7 months, the child falls in love. In terms of, the child would be seeing the father, the mother face. The child will recognize the father and the mother face. The child falls in love with the parents' face, would explore the parents' face by, touching the parents' face every time they come, and every time the child sees them. And also the child will respond with smile and joyfulness. So this is how emotions are expressed by infants, let's say to the time they are born to 7 months. Then when they are 10 months, up to 10 months, the child develops intentional communication, and around 9 to 18 months, the baby learns to connect small units of feeling. So these are the emotional development which takes place in an infant. From the time they are born to the time they are 18 months, there are certain emotional development in infants. For example, the child falls in love with the parents' face, the father-mother face, because the child recognizes the father's and mother's face, because these are the faces that the baby sees often, and the baby responds to these faces with joy. Then the baby starts exploring the faces of the parents. Then the child develops intentional communication, and also the child learns to connect small feelings, a small unit of feelings till the age of, up to the age of 18 months. So these are the emotional development in infant. Now, what are the emotions in childhood? According to Greenspan, during 18 to 36 months, that is during 1.5 years to 3 years of age, the child is increasingly able to express his or her emotions through ideas and learns to create them in his or her imagination. She or he is now capable of fantasy play, which reveals wide ranges of emotions like pleasure, curiosity, anger, protest, joy, jealousy, and so on and so forth. So when you see children from the age of 1.5 to 3 years of age, they have so many emotions within them. They would have emotions of joy. They're happy when you give them something like a chocolate, or give them a doll, give them a toy. Or they are angry when they demand something but you do not give to them. Or they are jealous when, let's say, they see their parent or their parents picking up another child which is not him or her. So there is a wide range of emotions which can be seen in children in childhood, from the age of 1.5 years to 3 years of age. What are the emotions in late childhood? When we talk about a late childhood, it is after 3 years of age. The child learns to further organize and manipulate his or her emotional understanding at this stage. The emotional experience of her role play become more complex and true to real life situations. So, when the child is in his or her late childhood, that is when the child is after 3 years of age, when the child has completed 3 years of age, what happens is there is a lot of role play. The child begins to understand the various role play by his parents, his teacher. And so what happens is the emotional experience of her role play become more complex and true to real life situation. A child may be now able to will be now able to recognize the behavior of the teacher, would be able to recognize the behavior of the parents. So he or she will act out how the teacher or the parents behave. This is the emotions which develop in late childhood. Emotional expressions usually are pleasant in late childhood. Occasional outbursts of temper are also visible. Occasional outbursts of temper which are also often visible. Then children demonstrate anger through moodiness and silence. So these are the various emotional expressions which exist or which are existing in late childhood, that is after 3 years of age. Beyond 3 years of age, girls express more feelings of fear, worries and affection. And also girls dissolve anxiety and fears into tears. And popular children usually are less anxious and jealous. So these was the emotions in late childhood. When we talk about late childhood, this would be after 3 years of age till they reach what is called adolescence stage, because the emotions in adolescent stage would be different from the emotions in late childhood, or the emotions in early childhood, or the emotions in infancy. What are the emotions which takes place in adolescence? Emotional development continues once children reach adolescence. During this transitional period, adolescents confront the challenges of developing autonomy, the capacity to think, feel and act on their own. So when children reach the adolescent stage, they become more independent. They have this feeling of autonomy. They feel that they know what is best for them. This is the transitional period when they see that there should be a lot of independence and autonomy given to them, because they now feel that they can take care most of the things on their own. So these are the emotions which exist in adolescent stage. In the developmental period, teens become moody and negative. That is during this development period, that is during this adolescent stage, teenagers become moody and negative. Most adolescents cope with the changes in emotionally positive way, At times, emotional stress is the result of adolescents' conflicts with their parents. So, this is the time when children are in a transitional period. This is the adolescent stage, and most of the adolescents, there are changes emotionally in a positive ways, but there are times when children who are in their adolescence, who are adolescents or who are going through this adolescent stage, they have a lot of stress, emotional stress. As a result, what happens is they rebel, they go against the wishes of their parents. A lot of children may develop they may develop emotionally in a negative way. So this is a transitional period where some teenager would be very rebellious. So this is a time when there is a lot of emotional stress because they would be confused about the identity. A lot of adolescents would like independence. They would like to have a lot of autonomy, and so on and so forth. These conflicts frequently occur because adolescents strive to make independent choices and do not agree with parents' requests and opinions readily. Emotional extremes are more center interactions with peers or romantic partners. This is the stage, this adolescent stage is the stage when the adolescents feel that, the parents are not getting them, the parents are not able to understand them, and so what happens is a lot of time they may turn emotionally to their peer group, to their friends, and a lot of time they may have girlfriends or boyfriends, and they may turn their emotion towards these friends, their peer group, or their girlfriend or their boyfriends. This is the stage when they become rebellious, and they do not accept their parents' opinions readily because they feel that they should be more independent, they should be given more independence. Depending on the unique characteristic of the young person, the availability of parental support and the amount and kind of stress in an adolescent's life, some of the teens are able to surmount difficult emotional situation, whereas others may despair. So this is the stage when a lot of parental support is needed, because this is the stage when a lot of teenager goes through a lot of emotional stress, because there is a lot of change in their physical, in their physique, a lot of change in their behavior. So if they have what is called proper parental support, then these emotional feelings will be channelized positively. And if there are no parental support or negative, there are no parental support, or parents are very negative towards the adolescent, then what will happen is they will develop a lot of emotional stress. There would be a lot of teenager who may take the wrong path. So it is very important at this stage that the parents support the adolescents, because this is a very crucial stage for the adolescents. If not effectively dealt with, emotional unresolved issues can sometimes lead to emotional disorders. For example, anxiety disorders like panic disorder, OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder, and phobias, and sometimes depression. So when children enter the adolescent stage, when they enter this stage, when a lot of changes is going physically, mentally, it is very important that the children are supported by the parents. Proper values are inculcated in this adolescence, because if parents are not there to support their children, a lot of children can undergo what is depression. It may lead to a lot of anxiety. It may lead to a lot of disorders and phobias. And it is very important that in this stage, children are inculcated with proper values. And when I say parents, because parents is the first school of learning. And then schools are also very important, but parents, as they are the first school of learning, the parents should give full emotional support, as well as the right or the proper value should be inculcated in children. Depression is generally characterized by hopelessness. So when you have adolescents who are not given proper or full parental support, then they would undergo what I just said, depression, phobias, disorder. And depression is a very serious disorder, because it is generally characterized by hopelessness, low self-esteem and sadness, which not only affect adolescents emotionally but also their physical well-being. And so before adolescents, before they reach puberty, the rate of depression are low and they occur equally in boys and girls. But after puberty, in terms of girls, when you talk about adolescents, when you talk about reaching puberty, girls, according to report, girls undergo more depression twice than boys, because this is the time when girls would undergo a lot of physical changes. They would be very concerned about their looks, their physical appearance. So if girls, especially girls, children who are in the adolescent stage, especially girls, are not given the proper support, then the depression would be more in case of girls. And according to report, the cases of depression are twice as concerned to boys. So how do you handle puberty in girls and boys? How do you handle adolescence? So what you can do as a parent, as a teacher, what you can do as a person, a concerned person, a well-wisher, what you can do is you can balance a sense of security and freedom. A sense of responsibility should be cultivated in them. Opportunities of sharing responsibility can work wonders. The unspent or excess emotions may be channelized towards noble purposes, for example, gardening, social and environmental service. So when we have to deal with children who are undergoing this adolescent stage, when they are going puberty, when they are going through a lot of changes physically, mentally, what you can do is you can channelize their emotions. You can channelize their excess emotion to doing something worthwhile. You can tell them to channelize their emotions towards, let's say, gardening, towards reading, towards social and environmental services. You can tell them to go plant a tree, or you can tell them, to clean your surrounding. So many ways by which you can channelize these excess emotions or unspent emotions in adolescence. Adult guidance must not be irritating in nature, and opportunities for girls and boys may be provided for their social mixing and proper understanding. A lot of times when girls and boys are undergoing this adolescent stage, when they are passing through puberty, when they have entered through the stage of puberty, a lot of them want to have a sense of independence. So a lot of times when they see that their parents are laying down so many rules and regulations. In fact, when parents lay down rules and regulations, parents always feel that, laying down rules and regulation is good for the children or for the child. But a lot of times, the children, the girls and boys who are going through this adolescent stage, may feel irritated in nature. They may feel that, the parents are overbearing. So what adult can do, your parents can do, or the parents can do, or we as parents can do, is that we should balance our rules and regulation with some kind of freedom, not full freedom, but then provide them, enough freedom so that they feel at ease with you to talk about the innermost secrets of emotions, and also give them a lot of understanding. Then also provide some kind of social mixing, and also give them certain assignments and projects which can be helpful and keeping them engaged, and also enhancing interest to work. And also this is the time when a lot of awareness on sex education on scientific basis should be given, because this is a stage when a lot of children undergo physical changes. So awareness on sex education on scientific basis should be given. What are the various emotions? What are the various self-conscious emotions which takes place, or which middle and late childhood, during middle and late childhood? Around 18 months of age, around 1.5 years of age, what are the various emotions which takes place in a particular child who is around 1.5 years of age? What happens is the child develops what is called self-conscious emotions such as shame, pride and embarrassment. For example, the child drops something and an object he destroys, or he or she destroys an object. Then if you scold him or her, then he or she feels a lot of shame and embarrassment. Or if the child has let's say completed a certain milestone, like he's able to say your name, he's able to say a parent name or the parent's name, there is this sense of pride. You clap hands for the child, so the child has this feeling of pride. So these are certain self-conscious emotions which takes place when a child is around 1.5 years of age. Then empathy and sympathy are also other emotions that a child displays. And empathy, like I said, is an emotional state that matches another person's emotional state feeling because someone else is feeling bad. So this is a stage when empathy and sympathy is also develops in a child. A child displays empathy and sympathy, and this feeling of empathy and sympathy which takes place during later childhood, when the child is 3 years of age, a child may see his parents or his father or mother crying. He or she becomes sad and would try to cheer the father or the mother or the parents up. So these are the emotions which takes place in early childhood. In later childhood, children empathetic and sympathetic responses are more compared to early childhood. When children reach the stage of late childhood, then the feelings of empathy and sympathy increases. It is very important to talk about anger in different stages of childhood, because anger is also another form of emotion. When we talk about anger, anger is a common emotion at any developmental period. The causes of anger, however, change across childhood. For instance, at age 5 months, a child may become angry because he is hungry. He may become angry because of his basic needs are not being met. For example, his favorite toy is not given to him. At 5 years of age, however, the child may become very angry because his sister or her sister, her brother takes away his toy, and this anger results from his lack of control over the situation. Most of young children's anger occurs as a result of conflicts over resources, space, and with age, anger is more likely to result from how one is treated. Thus, the cause of anger becomes increasingly social. So, as you progress, as you become older and older, your anger becomes your expressions of anger becomes varied. For example, the way you express anger at an age when you are teenager may be very different when the way you express your anger at a stage when you are adult or at a stage when you are old, because with age, anger is more likely to result from how one is treated. Your anger may be less because you have the ability to control the situation when you have been when you are old, or when you are at an adult stage compared to when you are young. So in today's class, dear learners, we have discussed the various stages of emotional development. We have discussed emotions in infancy. We have discussed emotions in early childhood, late childhood, adolescence, and also we have discussed anger, which is another form of emotions in various stages of life. With this particular class, I have completed part 2, week 2. Thank you so much.